you can start live streaming with some decent quality right away without breaking the bank. And I did that for years. That was basically my setup. However, I recently just upgraded to like the killer setup. Like this thing is lethal, but it's it's a lot more expensive as well. So let's dive into my new setup. Okay, so let's break down this live streaming setup piece by piece, starting with the camera. Yes, I've been live streaming on a Panasonic GH5. Now, before you say anything, is that camera overkill for live streaming? Yes, we didn't just get it just for live. We also got it for slow motion, for some short film type content or social media content that we'll be creating. But the main thing that it uses on a day-to-day basis is for live streaming, and I got it for a couple different reasons. One, I wanted to have a distinct look, and so a lot of the cameras that people recommend are camcorders. Most camcorders can't have like a real wide look to them, and so I kind of wanted a more YouTuber vibe while streaming live. And you could probably imagine why that would be cool, right? You'd probably want similar things, like being able to stream off a DSLR, in this case, a mirrorless camera. So that's the first piece, and that body comes in at $2,000 here in the US. And then the lens I have is the 12-32, super crispy lens. And at 12, it's nice and wide, but you can also zoom in. And I love the ability to be able to have different focal lengths by just being able to reach up right above my monitor here and do that. That's another $1,000. So already we're at a $3,000 setup to start. And one piece of kit that I would recommend is the continuous power solution for the Panasonic GH5. And it actually comes in two pieces. You actually buy the battery piece, and there's a little rubber door that opens on the GH5 to let you plug the wire in. And then you also buy the power supply piece. And it's really expensive if you buy the OEM stuff from Panasonic. I think together that was another $150. Now there is an aftermarket one, but for me, I was like, man, I'm already spending a lot of money to buy a camera that's this nice. I don't want to go cheap on the continuous power that I'm going to be using for years to come. And so this allows it to, you don't need to change batteries. It's just continuously powered. Whenever I want to just flip it on or off, the power is just always plugged in to the wall. Okay, the second piece of gear for this setup is the USB microphone. And for that, we have the Rode NT USB. Now I have a whole video out about this. I'll link it up on the YouTube card as well as in the description below. But I wanted a good solution for the desk here, and the boom arm was pretty important because one of my goals for this live streaming setup was that it would be quick and easy to just flip on and flip off. So in the past, I would actually carry a stand in and out, but I realized I just want to be able to sit down, you know, turn the camera on, open up the software, and just get going, just get creating content. This setup is going to be used for years to come. So I'm probably going to create over 1,000 videos and live streams just from this setup. So I want it to be right. I want it to be fast. I want it to be solid. And this is a great mic for that. I can move it to all kinds of different locations depending on where I'm sitting or positioned. Good audio quality, super easy to use, a solid choice. All right, the next piece of this kit is this ReadyCam tabletop tripod. Now, I love this tripod. It was actually kind of hard to search around on BH and Amazon to find a solid tripod like this, but specifically, I wanted this to be able to go behind the computer monitor, and so that's a great tripod. Maybe you would want to use it for something else. It's a kind of a cool find, and that comes in at $30 here in the US. Okay, now we've got our mic, we've got our camera, we've got our tabletop tripod, we've got continuous power going to the camera, and now we need to plug this into our capture card. So you need an HDMI cable, but here's a power tip for this particular setup. I have these little L brackets, and these are actually adapters from Cable Matters, and these are in $8 for a 2-pack, but it's huge because as you can see, it keeps the HDMI cable allowing you to still see the LCD screen, which is something I liked. I didn't want to just monitor myself on the actual feed that I could see on my computer. I also wanted to be able to see the screen and tap adjustments for the camera and whatnot. So that gets the HDMI cable out of the way. So that's a huge power tip if you're using a camera with the flip screen and you want to use the HDMI. Okay, so then next up, we have the HDMI cable, and that goes over to our PC. And so if you have a PC, and that allows you to put PCI cards in it or PCI Express. You know, any capture card, if it has good should work, but in this case, it's the Intensity Pro, and it's been working great. Okay, so that brings us to the PC. So this is a custom PC build from Computer Upgrade Kings. So you can kind of go there, you can start with a case, kind of a baseline of components, and add those pieces if you want.
Uy, por que eu carne.
i7 processor with 4 gigahertz speeds, so it's a very good computer. Now this PC itself came in around $2,100 here in the US. I actually have a whole video out about it. It's probably a lot cheaper now because it's maybe 6 months old, but I'll leave that up on the YouTube card in the description below if you want to actually see the details about this PC. I also like computer upgrade kings because you can get some high performance machines for a little bit more of a budget price than you would pay elsewhere, and you can do customization of them. That is sort of one of the most important things for live streaming. You just want to make sure you have enough processing power. You wouldn't need to like completely obliterate the specs. Like this is kind of overkill. But if you do want to stream 4K, you don't want to be on the edge. You want to have a lot of processing power to be able to handle multitasking and things like that.
Ensure you're sending streaming and
into the PC, which does all the work. But now let's talk about the software. And so there's a couple different softwares for live streaming. I used OBS for a while, which is a free software. It had a lot of issues with syncing of the audio and the video on this setup. Now, one thing that could kind of solve that problem if maybe you're working on live streaming things is that I thought about just putting a shotgun mic on the GH5. That way the audio could come off the camera as well as the video and just stream out from that. That definitely would have been a solution with some simpler software, but I definitely wanted to use a separate USB mic. There were some syncing issues, and the solution to that was vMix. That's what I've been using the most. And so vMix, in fact, a lot of this setup was influenced by David and Luria from Live Streaming Pros. I'll actually link to them in the description below. They helped me pick out all this gear and really set me down this path. They are experts when it comes to live streaming. But they recommended vMix, and it's been amazing. It's been relatively easy to use, and I've had no audio syncing issues. Everything looks great. I've had no crashing issues. And so I've really been falling in love with it. And what's pretty cool about vMix is you actually can do a 60-day trial free. I'm actually still in my trial period. And then if you only stream HD, it can be as cheap as like $60. But if you want to push it to 4K or have a lot of extra features, it can go up to like $300 or even $700. But what's cool is just a simple version of it. It's pretty cool. So that covers the software.
Sí, en el mundo siempre hay en el mundo siempre. Siempre.
Oye, esto, los padres hablan 10, 5, que 7 idiomas. Pues hablan puta donde se encuentran. Amor, ya ellos son buenos, como meterlos, ellos hablan generalmente inglés, francés, árabe, donde hablan esos idiomas.
Italiano,
El español perfectamente.
No sé cómo cortar la transmisión.
It's probably important to note that this is a larger desk, so you can see there's space here, but then there's another 1.5 that gives us space to put a little lighting stand back there, as well as the tripod and the camera and things like that. But definitely include some sort of a light source for your pro live streaming setup. Alright, next up is dual monitors. Let me flip this off. And this is actually pretty important for live streaming. And here's why. Because I use live streaming most for teaching, whereas I'm on camera, but then I like to show like a presentation. I like to have one monitor dedicated to the screen that I'm sharing. So when I found with live streaming, you got your software, and then you're also trying to see people's comments, and then maybe you also have your slides and things like that. I found that dual monitors is pretty essential. And you can pretty much use any kind of monitors, but I usually put vMix right here. I've got my PowerPoint right there, and then I usually will open up YouTube comments down here, over here. So that's kind of my dashboard that I work from, and then whatever is over here is I could put on screen. So I could just show different slides from PowerPoint, or I could show off an internet site and just walk people through YouTube analytics or anything that I might be teaching. And then finally, this isn't really part of the hardware side of things, but just kind of a tip in my live streaming process is, as I said, I like to teach the most on live streaming. So a lot of times I'm creating slide decks